One of the most famous and violent hauntings recorded in the United States is the tale of the Bell Witch, a malicious spirit that tormented John Bell and his family in 1817 Tennessee. The story captured the public imagination after the 1894 publication of An Authenticated History of the Bell Witch by author Martin V. Ingram. It's a chilling tale of a vengeful spirit and was later the inspiration for the film The Blair Witch Project. According to the folklore, the haunting began with a series of small encounters. The Bell's son Drew saw a monster bird perched atop the fence, glaring at the family estate. A large black dog followed a slave of the Bell family as he returned home. The Bell's daughter Betsy saw a girl in a green dress swinging from the limbs of an oak tree. After this, the family fell under relentless assault. Chains were dragged over the floor at night, the children would wake up bruised and bleeding, and the parents were tormented by demonic voices throughout the night. Unlike most haunting stories, the spirit was anything but evasive and mysterious. It would communicate with its victims, mocking their religious beliefs and threatening them with ghastly tortures. It spoke in the voice of long-dead family members and was able to replicate a sermon being spoken at that very moment some 13 miles away. It stated that it wanted to see the patriarch of the Bell family dead, and he died of poisoning not long after. Word of the hauntings got out and people would visit, hoping for a glimpse of paranormal phenomenon, including future President Andrew Jackson. The cause of the hauntings was never resolved, and the Blair Witch passed into Tennessee legend. The Hotel del Coronado is a strange place. Located in beautiful Coronado, California, this Victorian hotel was once considered the height of luxury. Guests would enjoy the sumptuous facilities and spend their days wandering the pristine beaches around the hotel. It seemed like the strangest place for a mysterious suicide. A woman named Kate Morgan checked into the hotel on Thanksgiving Day 1892. She stood out even amongst the other wealthy patrons of the hotel for her stunning clothes and captivating beauty. However, the few people she interacted with noted that the beautiful young woman seemed to be in the grips of a terrible melancholy. 5 days later, Kate Morgan was dead of a gunshot wound to the temple. The combination of distinctive setting, her mysterious beauty, and her death captured the imagination of newspapers around the country, who referred to her as the beautiful stranger. For the last 5 days of her life, Morgan stayed in room 302, now 3327 after a century of remodeling and renovation. People who've stayed in the room have reported swinging fixtures, flickering lights, telephone and TV malfunctions, and dark figures pulling sheets off the bed. Guests caught in the grip of terror have begged the spirit of Kate Morgan to leave them alone. Others have seen a woman dressed in out-of-date fashion in their room, her beauty marred by the ghastly bullet wound at her temple. The Choctaw Nation has many stories of shadow beings. It was believed that a person's soul lived in the shadow, and that many dread creatures existed in shadowy form, like the Nalusa Chito, a great black being that would feed on people's sorrow and rage. But even more dreadful was the Lanusa Falaya. The Nalusa Falaya, whose name literally means long black being, had a human-like body but with inky black skin, elongated limbs, and spines along its back. It crept through the forest by crawling on its stomach like a snake. The Choctaw elders knew the signs of the creature's passing and would warn the tribe not to go out at night and to travel in groups when the Nalusa Falaya was near. Massive bonfires were lit to keep the creature at bay, and the Choctaw would watch the darkness, carefully watching for signs from the long black being. If it caught a hapless victim, it would inject a thorn into the person's body, which would compel them to commit evil acts. The victim would be unaware of what they'd done, but the horrific violence would sow mistrust in the community, which would provide the Nalusa Falaya with plenty of negative emotions to feed on. At the end, the long black being would consume its victim and return to the primal darkness of the wilderness, waiting for another victim to fall in its clutches.